All right, you are looking at a daily chart of the Nasdaq, which is officially in a power trend, which started yesterday. How do we know we're in a power trend? Well, the low of the session has been above the 21 for more than 10 days. The 21, which is this pink line, has been above the red line here for more than 5 days. And they're stacked 10, 21, 50. So yeah, the Nasdaq was in a power trend yesterday, and the S&P, but today we had the Dow Jones join the party. If I could type the ticker symbol in there, right, we'll get a picture of the Dow Jones here. So the Dow Jones was at 40,000. Why wasn't that in a power trend? Because the low of the session was above the 21 for more than 10 days, but an uptrend has to start on an up day. And the pink line here has to be above the 50. This 21 has to be above the 50 for 5 sessions, and we have to have an up day. And it was only above there for one, I believe that's one. No, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Yesterday, Monday was the 5th day, and it was a down day. So today, the 6th day that this pink line has been above the red line, which is the 21 above the 50. And so now the Dow Jones has started a power trend, even though it's been above 40,000 and now it's below. The power trend just started today. Funny how that works, huh? Anyway, we like those large round numbers like 40,000 on the Dow Jones. And I did mention that the S&P had started, just like the Nasdaq, a power trend on Monday. So, these moving averages are stacked. And I've got a lot of questions about how long do they last. Well, the longest power trend, I believe, lasted for 318 days, and the shortest was 7, I believe. So somewhere in between those two. The market should trend higher, though, for, I don't know, just take it one day at a time. So today was a good day. So we're just gonna have to wait and see. Now, instead of going through all the, Mag 7 and everything in the groups, I got a good question today from a subscriber at mcstockcharts.com. Is like, okay, now that we're in a power trend, and I keep saying you got to be more aggressive in the market, how do you become more aggressive? Do you just buy any stock willy-nilly, XYZ, or spin the wheel or throw a dart? No, you have to be very selective still. Just because the market's in an uptrend does not mean all stocks are going to go higher. You have to be very selective in your stock picking and when you buy a stock. Like here, this is NVIDIA. I like the large liquid stocks. Obviously, NVIDIA is a leading semiconductor stock. I want to own the leaders. When I want to buy something, I want to buy the best, and you should too. So why settle for something that's not the best, like a Rambus, which is in the semiconductor fab? Let's look at this thing below the 200. Same sector as NVIDIA, but NVIDIA is the best. So you want to buy the best. Can I buy it now? No. Why not? Because earnings are tomorrow and there's a 9% implicated move, but this thing is set up in a base and trading near a buy point. So, I would just wait until the data comes out tomorrow. And if it starts trading higher, then you can start scaling into NVIDIA. But you don't want to chase stocks, and because chasing stocks can lead to trouble. And if you don't want to own, NVIDIA, and you want to own a semiconductor, Qualcomm was just set up in a base here and broke out. Now it's gone. So you can't buy that because you're going to get burned in when it pulls back, and you don't want to take more than a 5% loss. So you have to be patient. This is what I'm talking about, being selective, being patient. This is Broadcom. This one's set up in a base here and trading kind of tight. So I like this one. This one should be on my ready list, about 1403 buy point there. So if you want to get aggressive, you can do that. You can also, if you don't want to take the risk, of owning individual stocks, you can buy the SMH. It's an exchange traded fund that represents the semiconductor sector. And you can also buy, if you don't want to buy, stocks, individual stocks, you could just buy the QQQs, which you can see is just breaking out here. And the exchange traded fund is fine. You don't have the risk of holding through earnings, which can lead to blowups. But that's what I mean by being aggressive. If you're 30 or 40% invested, you're not taking advantage of the power trend. I like buying individual stocks. I like buying leading stocks. And that's why I showed you those semiconductor names. Spotify in the software area. To me, this is still, consolidating in a base. Pattern rec isn't picking it up, but this is a consolidation pattern here. We look at it on the weekly, you can see the earnings line going up. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's almost 8 weeks of consolidating. So Spotify looks good. This is a leader in the software, but also there's stocks like Duolingo, who we thought was going to be a great stock, was set up on a base, and this one fell out of bed. Obviously has a stiff competition, so like I said, you have to be selective. Elastic is another one that I like that is just consolidating in a base, trading tight above its moving averages. I should have that one on my ready list real soon. I like the looks of that one as well. A couple others that I've had on the ready list that are starting to move or moved higher and are extended now is NTNX. Nice software name, just trading higher, and you're going to get burned if you want to buy that extended here, 10% above its 21, and if it pulls back just a little bit, you're going to be underwater. You're not going to be happy about it. So that's what I mean. If you buy properly, that's going to take care of a lot of issues. This is Wix.com, and it broke out on earnings yesterday, but another software name showing strength. So we like to see, that group activity and not just one stock. Obviously, Microsoft is the big kahuna. This one's set up in a base here. I know they had news today, but that 429 area, definitely an area of interest, and that could turn up on our ready list soon. That's a little, slower mover, but still looks pretty good to me. All right, I'm going to move away from the software names now. If you want hardware, SMCI is one that's sold off. It's just kind of consolidating below its 50 is a little iffy, but this one's going to move with NVIDIA tomorrow. I think Vertiv Holdings is another one in the data center play, which is this one's extended as well, not set up in a base, and you don't want to chase here because if it pulls back, you're going to be underwater. DELL is one that we had on our ready list last week, but it kind of ran a little bit up to 150, and now it's starting to form a shelf. It ran a lot, now it needs a little breather, but that's another theme that you can play. GE and the aerospace defense names, they've been really strong. I'm not a big fan of the aerospace defense, but that one looks good. AVAV is one that we had on our ready list. Getting a little extended here, but if it pulls back, that one could be actionable. Other ones in this group, this one made a new high today. This is L3 Harris Technologies. You can see it was just set up in a base and moved out. I did not have that one on the ready list, and that's my bad. I had AVAV instead. You don't want to have too much in one group. I don't want to have too much concentration in one group because when they sell off, it hurts a lot. This is FTAI, made a new high today. You can see the big move, formed a shelf, and now moving higher. There's a lot of rotation here, so you can't just, try to chase the money every day. That's a good way to lose. You just got to wait your turn. And Micron Technology, this one broke out on earnings and now has formed a base. This one's actionable to me, and this is a very strong group. The computer data storage group, you can see the earnings is starting to tick up, relative strength starting to tick up. And in this base here, it looks pretty good, a stage 2 base for Micron. PSTG, Pure Storage, we had this on our ready list last week, but it kind of got extended, now pulled back a little bit today. I think it got downgraded. But another one is in the computer data storage, a very strong group is Western Digital, and this one's set up in a base, and this one could appear on our ready list. We had NTAP, NetApp, and this one's a little extended, but still actionable. It's still near that 108.82, not too far away. So I'm going to leave that one on as well. Some of the retail restaurant groups, fantastic. Chipotle, I mean, it's having a 50-for-1 stock split, and it's really ran a lot. So I can't recommend it up here. Same with Sweet Greens. This one had a big move and then formed that little pennant pattern and had a nice day yesterday, but still, this is consolidating in like a shelf type pattern. There's your pennant, the move higher, pull back to the 10 today. Yeah, the retail restaurant stocks are strong. Bros is another one that gapped up with earnings, now pulling back to a moving average. That's what I'm talking about chasing here. If you're chasing Bros, and buy this thing, up on this day at 38 or 39, 38.41, 38, and now it pulls back to 36. You're going, man, why did I do that? So that's what I'm saying. Let them come down, let them come into you. Don't chase. Don't chase these stocks. You don't have to. CAVA is another one that's been red hot. But once again, don't chase it. It's been trending with its 10. And, you got to buy that one on pullbacks. Let it come in a little bit. Wingstop is another one that we've had on our radar list. Broke out, just trending higher. But yeah, the retail group still looks pretty strong. The data center energy group, really strong. But once again, it's not going to go up every day. This is Quanta Services. I have this one on the ready list, and it's, we got that 265 on April 4th, which is, 6 weeks ago. Now it's formed this little base, trying to handle out here and pulling back and finding support at moving averages. That one looks fine. Another one in that group that I like is my favorite in the group is CEG, but it broke out and it ran and then it pulled back to the 10 and found support at the 10, and now it's back up today, challenging new highs. So that's why, if you didn't get it on the breakout, you got to get it on the pullback. So these are strong stocks, strong themes. This is VST pullback. Vistra, VST is the ticker, pulled back to its 10, found support, just had an inside day today, but looks, strong stock and ready to challenge its old highs there that it made like last week. Yeah, money is moving around very quickly. STRL is another one that I like in the group, but it broke out. Now you got to wait for it. Wait for the moving averages to catch up. And then Eaton, another one that's just trending higher. To me, this is a base here, 331 on April 5th, and now it's just kind of trading, sideways in a consolidation action from 331 to 302. So that just looks like a flat base for Eaton. Another group that I like is the building maintenance, the HVAC group. This is MCOR. This one's been on a roll, EME, and then IESC gapped with earnings and now pulled back to the 21. So that might be an area of interest for this stock. Let me see. Some of the air conditioning stocks, Fix. It's been consolidating in a base for a little bit, but this is a strong group as well. 27 out of 197. Carrier Global is another one in this group. It's very strong. The drug stocks, everybody knows the drug stocks. Novo Nordisk, I've had this on my radar list and it's going to stay there too, because it's just consolidating in a base. And I know people are excited today, but this is not a breakout. It just pulled back to its 10 and found support. It's still consolidating in a base. Still needs time. Same with Lilly. It had a nice move, 2.5%, $20 or whatever, but it's still near that 800 area. And to me, it hasn't even broke out yet. Yeah, it had a nice day, but when this thing starts to run, I expect it to run 10% or more, which would be, $80 or so. And you'll know it when it starts to run. And if you want to be more speculative, HIMSS, in the medical area, I don't, if you like to speculate, there's a lot of these biotech stocks you can speculate with. This is Viking, very volatile. TGTX is another one, but I'm getting off tangent here. I don't want to speculate when I'm getting more aggressive in the market. I want to buy the best of the best. And so that's what I'm trying to show you in each individual group. The miners, Southern Copper, to me, this is a clear leader in the mining group, but this is for, copper. Obviously, it's copper. Alcoa is one that's just been on a roll. This one's on a heater. Aluminum, CCJ is uranium. If you want to buy an uranium stock, there you go. PAAS, you got silver. Yeah, these things are just on fire. And then Freeport McMoran is another one in the group. So the miners have been very strong. I can't buy it up here. I don't see a lot of these things set up in bases, except for the gold play, which I put on, and this one's starting to get away too. This is Ego Eldorado Gold. So anyway, that's it. And of course, there's always the tried and true, the big, king of the internet. Google is one, to buy, and Meta platforms. Another one of internet, social media giant, really an advertising company. Microsoft, I believe I already showed Microsoft. That one is set up in the base and will be going on our ready list. And then the bank stocks, I mentioned I had JP Morgan on, and dummy Jamie Dimon spoke yesterday at Investor Day and said he's contemplating retirement, and he's cautiously pessimistic about the future. I don't know what's wrong with that guy. He's got a dark cloud hanging over his head. Anyway, I mean, I don't know, maybe you want to drive the stock down. All it really did, though, I had this buy point there at 294 cents, and it pulled back to its 21 and just had an inside day today. So it's still valid. That's still a constructive move. I mean, if you bought it up here and it traded down from 205 to 195, you're not very happy, but it's still consolidating within a base here. That looks fine. There's a lot of these bank stocks that are doing well. Morgan Stanley, I like sticking with the larger ones. This one's, you can obviously see the trend here. I wouldn't chase that, but just showing strength. This is Citigroup. Another one that looks, ready to pop. Yeah, I was up 2.5% today, which is a big move for a stock like that. Still consolidating in this flat base pattern, note that 63.90. So to me, Microsoft, and Citigroup, some of these look like they might run here. And if Microsoft does, that's going to really drive the indexes higher. Some of the medical stocks that I like, and retail stock, I'll go to retail first. Abercrombie and Fitch. This looks fantastic, but the problem is earnings next week. And you don't want to get caught in an earnings downdraft. There's other retail names that I like. L, it's sold off. I mean, would you rather buy it at 155 or 221? It came down to the 153 and then retested it. I think Elf's going to blow away the numbers, but you got to wait till tomorrow when they report earnings. It could fall out below the 200. That's not going to be much fun. So you got to be careful. Deckers reports on Thursday. Another one of the leading shoe group. This is going to affect all the shoes. Skechers, On Holdings, Crocs, when they report on Thursday. I got to believe they're taking market share from Nike, which is the worst performing stock in the Dow. And they haven't innovated since Michael Jordan retired from basketball. So Nike's in trouble. And I think all these companies are nipping at their heels, no pun intended. You got to wait for Deckers, though. Even though it's set up in a base, it looks pretty good. But you got to let them deliver the numbers. Like the folks in Missouri say, you got to show me. Medical product stocks, which I like. TMDX, to me, this is kind of like a new product in the field that's taking market share and gaining market share, and it's showing up in their earnings reports and their sales. So it's just trending higher after following the gap higher there. The low was 105, the high was 124. Even if you bought the high that day, you're still to the good here. Transmedics looks fantastic. Intuitive Surgical is one of these medical systems equipment stocks. The Da Vinci product, which is very popular. More elective surgeries these days. They're doing well. This is set up in a base. I do have that one on my ready list. And then Lantheus had a good report. And then gapped higher and is just trending higher. So Lantheus looks good as well. LNTH, the insurance names, and then I'm going to stop, I promise. I can't get to all of them that are doing well. The shippers, there's just a lot of them. Oil and gas, I can't get to all of them. So I'm going to stop here with insurance. This is Arch Capital. We had this on our ready list back here when it was in a base, and it's just grinding higher, just trending higher. Bro, one of my favorite ticker symbols. It's consolidated in a base, broke out, still actionable, but starting to push away from that base. And then AJG, which is Gallagher, set up in the base here, 256.10. So some of these stocks are looking pretty good that, that they're not all extended, even though the market's, pretty strong. So I could see, the rotation into some of these groups trending higher, trading higher. And anyway, That's it for me today, except for I lie. I have one more thing in honor of the great Steve Jobs. We had some reports tonight, earnings reports. I was able to look at Toll Brothers and notice that they beat on both the top and bottom. They did say that a majority of their home buyers, now they build these luxury homes in prime areas and they're, multi-million-dollar homes. And they said a majority of the people buying their homes are just paying cash. So, they're not having to deal with any, 7% mortgage rates or anything like that. They're coming in and plunking down 2 and 3 and 4 million for Toll Brother homes. Toll Brothers did say that they have, big demand and little supply, and that's just going to be a problem in the housing market for a long, long time. Is that the people are clamoring for homes and they just can't build them fast enough. These are luxury homes, though. Toll Brothers builds nice homes. Mod, I can't end on a bummer here, but Mod, they missed on revenues, and I think their guide was just pretty average. So it's going to get a haircut tomorrow of, I don't know, 7, 8, 10%. Yeah, that's too bad. I was hoping a little better action. I don't know if that's going to really affect, Carrier or Fix or Linux, but or Train, but that was not a great report from them. Yeah, we'll see what happens. And then the last one was Urban, our retail stock, up more than 7%. They did have a beat. I'm telling you, the consumer, when they, clamor for a certain retail products, man, they really buy them up. Urban Outfitters is doing well, and then Abercrombie and Fitch, we know they're doing well. Crocs has been one of these fad stocks, that they said it's a fad for the last 15 years, and they continue to deliver the goods. So, teens like, or everybody likes buying Crocs. I mean, it's got a broad demographic. That one just pulled back to its 10. I have that one on our ready list as well. But that Urban report might help some of these apparel stocks tomorrow. That's American Eagle Outfitter. We'll have to wait and see. But congrats to the longs at Urban. That's up 7%. That's a nice move. And you can see it's just closed above the 50. And these earnings reports are crapshoots. You got to be careful and you got to manage risk. I just wanted to point out today that the three major indexes are in a power trend. You still have to be selective. You can't just buy any stock. I just showed you a bunch of leading stocks, some extended, some set up. If you belong to mcstockcharts.com, you know which ones I have on my ready list that are, and my leading stock list that are performing well. I prefer leaders, and I don't like to buy junky stuff like this, that just been going wild, down 22% today with all this massive volume. And then, of course, AMC is a movie theater. I want to see the movie theater do well. Then GameStop, which is just junk, down another 4% today. Good. Had a Roaring Kitty, had it roaring for a day or two, but that one has come back to earth. Anyway, stay away from those. Buy the leaders, have a plan, have a strategy. Stick to it. Don't chase. Don't try to follow the rotation around every day like a chicken with your head cut off. Just have a plan. Stick to the plan. Buy quality stocks near proper buy points. You're going to be fine in this power trend. And anyway, at mcstockcharts.com, we want to thank you for watching. Adios.